The world's biggest tournament is coming, and the official FIFA World Cup 26 Try-Under competition ball is here at the Goal 90 shop. Designed for the game's biggest stage, it's built for precision, speed and control. Right now, you can make it yours with 30% off plus free shipping. Don't just watch the World Cup, own a piece of it. Visit goal90.shop today and order now. It's no secret that professional footballers are some of the best paid people on the planet. Each time we hear how much these top players earn per week, it continues to blow our minds, and those numbers continue to increase every season. Thanks to their fat paychecks, professional footballers can afford to buy literally anything they want, from crazy mansions to supercars, even to private jets and luxury yachts. Now, while most of the pro ballers we know love to live lavishly and show off their wealth every chance they get, some others are the exact opposite. It is those players we're here to talk about today. These are 7 footballers who hate displaying their wealth. We'll start with the least surprising name on this list, N'Golo Kante. We don't even have to say much about this one. If you're a football fan, you know Kante and you know the kind of person he is. He is the most humble player the sport has ever seen, and it'll continue to blow our minds how he lives his life. He never wears designers, doesn't drive fancy cars, and is never in the clubs or at parties. He lives a very simple life that you could mistake him for the guy next door. For so many years, when he was a superstar Premier League footballer, Kante continued to drive a Mini Cooper and show up at events in regular clothes. Apart from his elite footballing ability, Kante's really down-to-earth demeanour made him one of the most loved footballers in the world. But he's not the only former Premier League superstar on this list. Can you guess who the other person is? Take a shot at it in the comments. We'll see if you're right soon. While you're there, if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Let us now talk about a current Premier League star, Rodri. If you know this guy, you'll know he's a super humble dude who doesn't care about flaunting wealth even one bit. When he started his career as a pro footballer at Villarreal, he was living in a shared student accommodation while also pursuing an education. We're talking about a professional footballer playing in one of the biggest leagues in the world who was still locked in and trying to get a degree while sharing spaces with students. He was at an age where young footballers start to enjoy and flaunt their newly acquired wealth, but Rodri was never moved by that. Even when he started to move up the ladder with moves to Atletico Madrid and then Manchester City, he still had the same mentality. His first car was a fairly used Opel Corsa, which he got from an elderly lady. But of course, he could easily have afforded a supercar. Till date, Rodri remains that really simple, regular guy. Normal clothes, a decent car, no clubbing and partying, and still no social media. This guy is literally a Ballon d'Or winner. But the way he lives, you wouldn't even know. Speaking of Spaniards staying in student accommodations reminds us of Pau Cubarsi. The teenage defender currently earns about €5 million every year, so he can afford a house of his own for sure. But he decided to stay back at La Masia's accommodation even after he had gained promotion to the first team. After he left La Masia, instead of moving to a mansion of his own, he decided to move in with his sister, with whom he shares household chores like cooking and washing the dishes. Despite being a superstar playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world and getting nominated for big awards, Cubarsi still insists that he's just a regular guy, and honestly, that's the way he lives. While his friend and teammate Lamine Yamal went crazy with his 18th birthday celebration, Cubarsi kept it super simple, with a small cake in his living room. We're not saying there's anything wrong with how Lamine celebrated his birthday, but you know, it's just refreshing to see players who still live like Cubarsi in spite of their fame and wealth. The centre-back is a really simple guy, and we can just tell that he'll remain this way for a long, long time. Now, remember we said that there's another former Premier League star on this list? Well, that guy is Sadio Mane. This is another super humble guy who has reached the highest heights of football and has remained that way. Of course, Mane is super wealthy. But instead of spending his money on parties, yachts and a lavish lifestyle, he prefers to give back to his community by building schools and hospitals and financially empowering folks in his hometown back in Senegal. This man has been doing this for years and he hasn't gotten tired at all. Sadio Mane is obviously a really good footballer, but he is an even better human being. Let us now go back in time to look at Andrea Pirlo. This guy is one of the richest footballers ever, but you wouldn't even know. His father founded Egg Steel, a very profitable metal trading business, and Andrea himself has a stake in the business. In addition to that, he has a vineyard which produces about 20,000 bottles of wine every year. So apart from football, Pirlo always had money coming from so many different sources, but he hates to flaunt any of that. One time, in an interview with Vanity Fair, he was asked about his wealth, the family business and all that, and he said he never talks about money. He lives a super humble life, dresses like a regular dude, and doesn't even act like he's a superstar. Speaking of superstars, Trent Alexander-Arnold is surely one, and of course he's also super wealthy, but he hates displaying his wealth. As of 2022, after having won the Champions League and the Premier League and established himself as one of the best right-backs in the world, he was still living with his family. When asked about it in an interview, he said he chose to do that because it keeps him grounded. This guy could easily have afforded any mansion he wanted in Liverpool at that time, but he chose to do chores in his parents' house. It was not until later in his Liverpool career that he moved out to live on his own. Even now that he's at Real Madrid, he still lives a pretty simple and grounded life. Finally, Roy Keane is one guy who has never been a fan of flaunting his wealth. He's a pretty regular guy who loves to live his life like a regular working man. As far back as the year 2000, he publicly shamed fans who came to stadiums just for the luxury boxes rather than a passion for the sport. He called them the Prawn Sandwich Brigade, inferring that they were only there for the prawn sandwiches and not to actually support the team. When he was captain of Man United, he was the one always keeping the young players grounded and making sure they never got carried away with their newfound wealth. And now that he's older and works as a pundit, the man is still that way. He brings his own packed lunch to work every day. On one occasion, Micah Richards made a video of Keane's very simple ham sandwich and even made fun of the former United man. He probably could not understand why a millionaire who could afford to eat anywhere he wanted still brought his own sandwich to work. But well, that's just the way the man is. He hates to flaunt wealth, and you just will never catch him doing a thing like that. Are there more footballers who hate to display their wealth? Give us their names in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.